Okay, now, there are two models for Jewish spirituality, which enables us to deal with the world in different ways. There are those who build their religious life on the feeling that all that happens to them is an expression of the will of God, and that God is ultimately involved deeply in my personal life. And as a result of that, the Holocaust presents an impossible situation. Because then where is he involved? Not only the Holocaust, I'd say all suffering. Just go through a children's ward in the hospital. I mean, Holocaust didn't invent evil. The problem of, that's why I gave you the book of Psalms to read. It's full of that. God, why have you forsaken us? I mean, I don't think the world was different at any other time. The only thing we have is stories about God's involvement. Now, if we want to live by those stories, then it's very important to understand that, as I said, the Jews live by memory. And it's the memory of the fundamental, pivotal moments of Jewish history, which may be true or not true. It doesn't interest me. But they are the foundational memories. The Exodus from Egypt, telling that story over and over again, brings home to the people the feeling that God will not abandon them in their suffering, and that slaves went through liberation and changes in history, so that history could really bring expectations of radical change, radical revolution. Furthermore, then there is the memory of Sinai. And there's a big machlekes arguments in biblical scholars between Van Rad and others, to what degree is the Exodus necessary for Sinai. Some claim that the founding memories were just the Exodus and not Sinai. Because if you read the chapter of bringing Bikurim, you see that they did not mention there at all Sinai. So I don't know, I'm not interested if it happened. Oh, it was nice if it happened. What I'm interested in is the memory of it, what happened, and how that memory shaped my Jewish self-awareness. Like, did Israel bring about the fulfillment of the Zionist dream? I mean, who cares? There's a memory that it should have. No? So we'll tell the story for hundreds of generations, hopefully, that this, that the dream of Zionism, of a new Jew and a new anthropology and a new moment in history when the exile ended. So we're going to tell that story, and we're going to reinforce it with our children. The trouble is that we didn't make a holiday around the creation of the State of Israel, so we didn't create a ritual of memory. That was the great mistake. So then you have the other memory of the desert and God's protecting love as we march through the desert, and the entrance into the land, etc., etc. Now, under all conditions, those stories were told. Remember that. When you think God abandoned you, and God says, why do you think I don't love you? Why don't you remember all the things I did? And what does he always point to these three fundamental moments? The liberation from slavery, the giving of the Torah, which is another memory, very important memory, that God, we are responsible to God in the way we live, and how that human actions are of ultimate significance. That's the meaning of mitzvah. Mitzvah says there's a very deep, intrinsic significance to certain forms of behavior, and that you measure your life by how you live, and that human beings are constituted by living according to that form of life. So Sinai gives you a whole form of life in which God reveals the Ten Commandments, in which God reveals a whole set of laws of how we should live. But these set of laws even develop further in the Talmud. And the Talmud elaborates on all these laws and begins to think of these elaborations as also expressing the will of God. So will of God was seen throughout Jewish history as an active force. Just as he revealed the Torah in Sinai, so does his revelational will show itself in the whole Talmudic tradition. So therefore,